Welcome, everyone, to what is probably, outside of the presidential debate, the most sensitive topic that will be discussed. We're here to talk about reviews. So welcome to Review and Reviewers, Review and Review I, boosting star ratings and creating memorable guest experiences. We have three different experts with us today from three different sides of the table. We have a marketing expert who has handled and created review programs from multiple brands. We have a guest relations expert representing a national multi-unit hotel and restaurant brand. And believe it or not, through a rigorous approval process, we have a real-life Yelp reviewer. Everyone be nice. So excited to kick this off. Reviews are near and dear to my heart as a consumer, as someone who works on the hospitality tech side. We've got a great panel today. Let's kick it off with some intros. We're going to hear first from Heather.
Absolutely. Nice to meet everyone. I'm Heather Dratler. I am the Vice President of Marketing and Brand Engagement for Next Level Burger and Veggie Grill by Next Level, which comprise America's largest vegan restaurant company. And I'm also the VP of Brand Engagement at B Public Relations, which focuses exclusively on restaurants and hospitality. We do fractional marketing services, PR, social influencer.
If you haven't had Next Level, I just had it in Austin in the Whole Foods. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Amanda Vasquez. I am actually a Senior Provider Relations Manager for a health insurance company, but I am here as the Yelp Elite Reviewer. Good morning. Thank you.
And Nikki.
Hi, you guys. I'm Nikki Hewitt. I work with IMCMV, which is Margaritaville restaurants. So I handle our guest relations program as well as our social media program. So pretty much the digital umbrellas, my domain. So we do community management, of course, Yelp reviewers. We also do our surveys, which are internal. And then we do just anything that comes in from the venue. So if you're having an issue, you're talking to someone online, it's me. So.
Well, I just got hit with my first Margaritaville cruise ad on Instagram.
Yes.
That might be a purchase soon. I'm Avi Gorin, co-founder and CEO of Marqii. Marqii helps restaurants, hotels to manage reviews, online listings, menus, with deep integrations built specifically for this industry. Excited to kick it off. Let's start with question number one. I think this is a question for everybody here. You know, obviously we're in this room, so we all agree that reviews and guest feedback are important, right? From your guys' perspective, from y'all's perspective, why are they so important for the relationship between diners and restaurants? Yeah, Heather, kick it off.
All right. I think there's a stat out there that we've all probably seen that like 90% of people look at reviews before they make a decision. I can tell you anecdotally that that's true, right? Like I look at reviews before I make a decision about going somewhere. So I think people do take that really seriously. I think I read somewhere too that people will trust a reviewer as much as they would trust their friend, right? Which is crazy. It's like strangers that you don't know on the internet, but it's true. And it's also a way to connect with your guests the same as you would within your four walls, right? When you're having a guest experience, maybe it's the best experience they've ever had, or maybe they had something they wanted to give you a little feedback on. You're gonna have that interaction in the restaurant, and now we live in this digital-first world, and reviews are a way to have those interactions in the digital space.
I love that you put your consumer hat on, right? You're like, hey, just from my perspective, how I operate, how I choose a restaurant is X, Y, Z. So why isn't everybody else doing it this way too, right? Nikki, any?
Yeah, I mean, reviews and guest feedback is how we improve our business. So getting that feedback from the guests, getting it as quickly as we can to make those improvements is part of our core values, making sure that our guests are feeling heard, and we're making those changes to improve ourselves as a business and then as a company in whole. We have, I mean, every company has brand standards, and all that guest feedback does is make sure that we elevate those and are consistent. So every guest gets superb service. And then, like they said, everyone uses reviews. Who doesn't use reviews? If I'm gonna go somewhere, I'm seeing what the star rating is, what the last few reviews are, and if there's pictures, because I wanna see what the food looks like. So reviews are super important for us.
Reviews drive behavior.
They do.
Amanda.
Well, on the other side, for me, the reason why I do reviews, probably a quick story was whenever out-of-town guests come and visit, they always ping me as the expert of where should we go, what's the great place, where should we go eat, where's somewhere that's not in the city that I live in. And so it was important to me to kind of have that track record. So I really like to leave reviews with pictures because people are visual. They want to see, they want to know the tips and tricks or anything unique about the restaurant. And that's what kind of led me to leaving those reviews, was wanting to have that for my family and for friends that come out of town. Like Heather said, we will all go online, look to see, hey, how does this restaurant review? What are they saying about it? You might read the reviews and also look through pictures. So that's really why it's important for me and why I take the time to do and leave reviews.
I think it's important to remember that the consumer journey can start anywhere, right? It can start on an Instagram photo. It could start from something they heard at brunch, whatever it is. But along the way, reviews will be a part of that journey, right? So you can't ignore them. You've got to be a part of that. You've got to have a management strategy, something in place, because clearly they will play a role. Yeah. Thank you. Question 2, specifically for Nikki and Heather. Tell us a little bit about just your general review management strategy and maybe how it's evolved over the last few years as we've kind of adopted new technologies, new strategies, new sites. Maybe Nikki, kick us off.
I'll kick you off then. So I've been doing guest relations for over a decade, from when guests used to call in or even come in or mail in their reviews, which was great, but that timeliness of getting that response back to the guests and actually seeing that turnaround and the feedback wasn't the maybe best option. So having everything go digital and online now is a game changer. It was now where we did Yelp reviews, and as social media has evolved, now you're seeing it all on Facebook, on Instagram, on your social posts. They're leaving comments there, they're DMing you. So it really has evolved to a more of a social platform rather than only reviews, Google reviews, Yelp reviews, TripAdvisor, what have you. So for us, we've really made sure that community management on a social scale is a big part of our guest relations kind of plan overall. I'm really fortunate to have some great interns who are really, up on social media, so I'm not, having to worry about where everything is, but being able to put that digital platform like Marqii to help with AI responses, which for myself, where we get hundreds of thousands, depending on the season, reviews a month, for us, that's a lot for any team to handle. And we want to make sure everyone gets an answer, and a genuine answer. So AI technology and implementing Marqii into our system has been a game changer for me.
Well, we appreciate that, and I would say Margaritaville was one of those moments where my parents were finally proud of me when we started working with Margaritaville. Man, chasing that feeling again. Heather, what about you guys?
I like that you spoke to kind of that, the scale at which you have to take that on, because I can speak to kind of 2 other angles on that. So with the vegan restaurant company with Next Level, we're 25 locations nationwide, so we do get a ton of reviews across platforms, probably not quite as many as you guys do. But we have a customer-obsessed CEO who responds and ensures that we respond to every single guest review, every guest comment, every email that comes in. He will personally respond to emails. So it's been interesting to see how that review strategy has evolved as the company has scaled. We just acquired Veggie Grill in January, so that kind of really increased things and took it to the next level, if you will. And so with that, it started with just the GMs responding to reviews for their own stores, and then it became, we layered in the approval process. So now as we train new general managing partners, we teach them, we create an SOP, we give them guidance on how to respond to different kinds of star reviews, and then they'll draft a response that goes up for approval to a regional manager. And then sometimes the CEO will even have eyes on it. He's checking that every day, looking at Marqii going, hey, there's a review that wasn't responded to in the last 48 hours, guys, where's our response? So it allows this great sense of visibility even as we scale to this many locations, and it allows more people to take part in that and take ownership. And to your point earlier, it's, we're implementing that feedback in an operational sense as well. So it's important for our operators to be connected directly to those reviews. And I know some companies will do marketing owning the reviews, and I've worked with smaller restaurant companies as well, where maybe they'll use a part-time hourly employee to draft those initial responses, but it's still going up through the approval process, so the operators are getting that feeling of what's happening out there, and they're getting that guest engagement, but it's creating scalability.
Yeah.
So.
It's been fun to watch over the last probably decade. So I was at Yelp for 2 years and then began my Marqii journey, and the sentiment around reviews has shifted, right? Originally it was, I don't want to think about it, what's going on, I don't want to even look at it, to now you're having different strategies, different hospitality units and groups are doing different things and making it work for them, but you're kind of seeing that everyone is now realizing we can't just ignore it, we also have to take this for what it is, make implementations, take the feedback. Feedback is a gift. Gifts can be returned. You don't have to take all of it, right? But what you can take and what makes sense for you as an operator, you implement. Amanda,
Sure.
as a frequent restaurant visitor, what elements for you take a restaurant experience from good to great? And maybe share a story about a 5-star experience and what made it that 5-star experience for you.
Okay, definitely. For that 5-star, I definitely see the service. So right when you walk in, are you getting the vibes that you're welcomed? Are you welcomed? Are you greeted? That service to me is the most important thing. You can go in and enjoy your food, and if the food's just okay, but the server or the service was great, you'll probably still want to return just because you really enjoyed the atmosphere and the service. So the little details as well. Some things that come to mind to tie in on the details and an experience was when I went to a restaurant, I was holding up my menu and kind of holding it closer, and the waiter immediately pulled out a little pen flashlight and helped me to view the menu. And I thought that little detail of, oh wow, they know that the ambiance is a low light restaurant, but they have a little flashlight ready for me or for whoever might need that. Little details as well at the end, having a little wet nap or a little mint at the end. Those little key details for me is that extra service that takes it to that 5-star level.
Can I throw something in on that?
Absolutely.
I love to. I'm glad that you mentioned the 5-star piece, because I think reviews also create an opportunity. I think maybe everyone in here is familiar with unreasonable hospitality at this point. So I think that reviews also create opportunities to go that extra mile and create that unreasonable hospitality. We actually had a guest who was really upset that they couldn't order third party and get loyalty points through our rewards program, and that's just a tech limitation, right? You got to order through the native to get and use those rewards. And they were really upset, and we can't change it. And we told them, we're sorry that we can't change that, but because we are so customer obsessed at Next Level, our CEO said, hey, why don't we have our GM do a one-time delivery complimentary to this guest? They're outside of our delivery range for native, but they're able to get third party. Let's have the GM take a free order to their house, deliver it personally and say, hey, we're sorry that we can't do this all the time and we can't make this work for you, but this is how much we care about your business. And that went from a 1-star complaint to a 5-star review. So lots of opportunity there.
I love that. I love that. Raindrops make oceans. We read that book as a company. It's changed the way that we think about our customers, right? Because for us, we think a lot about hospitality for the hospitality industry, right? Y'all are out there doing all this work with your customers, with your clientele. Someone needs to make you guys feel good too, right? So we try to think that way, and you can see the impact it has when you engage with people in a thoughtful way. And with reviews, if someone said this to you in person, you wouldn't ignore it,
Yeah.
right? Just because they're hiding behind a screen. It's not Twitter, right? Got to acknowledge it. Heather and Nikki, right? Y'all are managing and helping multiple different brands. So when you think about your reviews, how do you choose to respond to reviews? How do you respond to all of your reviews? And if you're not, which I know we've already heard that you guys are pretty active in that space, how do you choose what to cherry pick, what to focus on, and kind of chop down the review tree?
You want to take this one first?
Sure.
All right.
So yes, most of my brands are responding to every review, and that's going to be your best practice if you can. If you have to prioritize, I think a lot of folks start with the negative reviews because you want to make sure those are not languishing out there. I know as a consumer, when I see a negative review, I'm seeing how did the restaurant respond? Do they care? Is this something that's likely to happen to me? And so you can see through those responses that maybe no, that's not something that's likely to happen to me, so I'm going to give this place a try. Then I think it's important to respond to your positive reviews. So you want to make sure there's kind of a balance there of what's surfacing to the top. And I think I might have learned this from Marqii a little bit too, is the 3 stars are a great place to get your insights, right? Because not just the 3-star with no comment, but if they do leave a comment, that's your opportunity to say, hey, this is what's going well, here's where I can improve. So I kind of go low, high, middle.
I love that, and yeah, we firmly believe those 3 stars, right? That's your battleground, right? That's where you can really bump it up to that 4-star and have them come back, because medium's hard.
Yeah, neutrals are hard. We also respond to all reviews. 24 hours is pretty much our timeline, which seems unreasonable, but with AI technology, that's really helped us keep that 24, 48 on the weekends or holiday weekends, maybe pushing it so my team can have a little bit of time off. But being able to have the technology to help respond to that. We also, of course, prioritize our negative reviews, 1, 2 stars, then our neutrals. And then we also go ahead and do a follow-up with all of our 1-star reviews. So once it goes out to the field, the general managers have had the chance to reach out to the guests, recover them. Then usually what we'll do is follow back up. How is everything? Did you have great recovery? We're so hoping you come back. Here's a coupon. Here's a keychain. Here's a koozie. Give me your address. We'll make a reservation for you. Make sure that you get 5-star experience on your next one. So being able to do a secondary response has actually helped also change some of our 1-star reviews to 3-star reviews. So it does help in our overall star rating as well, which, that's important.
So you both mentioned kind of 1-star review, low review, escalation processes. Can you take us a little bit deep? Like, what does that look like at Margaritaville? Is that someone's sole job? Is that part of a bigger task? Like, what's that escalation process actually look like?
So any 1-star review, we're automatically going to reach out to the guest with, please reach out to us personally. We want to talk to you, we want to email you, want to find out exactly what happened. And whether that's an email or a call, I prefer to have email just so in case I need to then forward that, the general manager, the district manager, whoever it is getting that same feel of frustration that these guests had in their original email, their original post. So then the general manager is able to go in, try to recover them. If not, though, I will reach out. But for us, because we want to make sure that our team is able to learn from these experiences, to make sure that this does not happen again, I could easily recover everything. Take it all on, easy peasy, fix it, but then our team isn't learning. And that's how we grow as a company. That's how our operators grow their customer service skills. So we make sure that anything that is escalated to there goes to me, and then we don't do CEO. But our VP of Ops would get involved should she need to and smooth that over in her little Southern charm.
Southern charm goes a long way.
Yes, it does. It's amazing how many angry guests she can just pull that Southern hospitality
Don't
out.
underestimate a y'all and a drawl.
Her Savannah Southern hospitality, I'm telling you. And everyone is just smiles. They're calling. They're writing her letters. It's great. But no, it is pretty much for the most 1-star, that's going to end with me. Additional coaching in the field. If it's a server, additional coaching for that guest server, the greeter, things like that.
So we've heard this theory about how to get re-engagement and escalation. And hey, they'll change it from a 1 to a 3. They'll change it from a 2 to a 3, a 3 to a 4. But with a real-life Yelp reviewer, Amanda, has that been an experience of yours? Have you gone through a ratings change, an update, whether up or down?
I actually have. As you can imagine, wherever you live, you'll probably try to stay around there because you want to get out of work and then pick up something really quick. You're not trying to drive across town. So there was this place that I had gone to, and the service was okay, and the drinks were okay, and left my review. And on my own, I just decided, hey, it's right here in my city. Let's try it again. Let's go back. And the service was completely different. It was completely different people that I remember, and the lady was so nice. She was welcoming. She wanted me there. She wanted the business, right? She wanted to help me. She was trying to explain what different drinks they can make, what different options I had. She really was asking, and I don't think it was fake. I really think it was real, genuine. This is how she was, welcoming. Hi, have you been here before? Can I help you? What are your flavors that you like? And that literally, once I check in, I can update my review. And I did update my review because to me that was thoughtful and meaningful, is for them to know that there is a change, this place is really helpful, and they want you to be there.
And was this was an organic experience? This wasn't, they didn't know you were Amanda, first initial from Yelp. You were
Right, correct, organic. Like I said, it's in my city, so it's really convenient for me to just drive there and get something. And yep, it was.
I love that, right?
Yep.
Updates happen. We see it all the time, just on our side, just in our dashboard. We're constantly seeing reviews being updated because it's a real behavior, right? You want to support those in your community. You want to support those local. And if you're going to have repeat dollars with repeat experience, there's an opportunity to change, right?
Right.
Back on the operator side, and then we're going to open it up to questions soon. When you think about managing the flood of reviews, right? Outside of leveraging maybe some AI or anything like that, what are there templates you've looked at before, tactics you've implemented? What kind of helps control the floodgates of reviews across multiple concepts?
Want me to start?
Yeah, that's good.
All right. So the way that we handle this at Next Level is kind of a multi-pronged approach. There is an SOP, as I mentioned, so it does have general guidelines of how to respond to different star reviews with examples. We always tell folks to personalize that and not just change one word, you know, and okay, it's personalized, but actually make it personalized so it doesn't look like a copy-paste job. And I hear that's something AI and a human touch can help with as well. But on top of that, we've got each of our GMs responsible for their own store, so that kind of breaks it down, right, into a little more bite-sized pieces. Sometimes if a store is getting really heavy reviews, we'll bring on another manager from the store to be part of that approval process, because again, we've got the layers of people looking at that. And then you can also preload some basic, you know, things to start with. It's just kind of copy paste it in, and then you know, make your changes, make sure it's a little bit varied, and maybe have some different copy paste that you're using, and then varying those. But I think having those layers in place just kind of breaks it down into more bite-sized pieces that take less
It's
time.
so important to personalize, acknowledge whatever's happening in there, just a general, like you would in a human conversation, right? Thank you, I hear you, right? And you repeat whatever the
Be
feedback
a human,
was.
right?
Be a
Like
human.
that, I think, is the biggest
We
thing.
say it all the
is
time.
Treat it like it's someone right in
Thank you.
front of you in your four walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nikki, anything on your guys' side?
Agree. I mean, I agree with everything Heather had to say. I do use a lot of templates, but for me, when I say a lot of templates, I have, I think, a total of 500 and something different responses for different things. So cold food, bad, unhappy server, maybe greeter took too long. So because the restaurants, the items are so specific, I find getting that base and then kind of tweaking it as I need to. So it was a slower visit, long wait time, plus maybe the margarita wasn't as Margaritaville as you thought it was going to be. So making sure that they get that additional wow factor in with the responses. Again, tailoring those also to AI. We've also implemented switching up every 6 months. So every 6 months I send in a brand new set of templates that we work on, myself and my team, and then we send that in so it's fresh, it's new. We're addressing any new problems we have. We're maybe taking some of those old verbiage out. And then again, so it doesn't seem so, AI-y or, just, okay, I always tell my team, respond to them like you were talking to your grandmother. This is how you want someone to talk to your family member. So give them that genuine, I'm sorry. It's hard sometimes to come across as genuine without being fake. So it is a special skill set to not come across as ingenuine, but as we really care, because we do. We want everyone to have the best visit, and we want to make sure that they know how sorry we actually are.
And I wanted everyone to hear this because at no point did Nikki or Heather say, we just push a magic AI button and go back to other parts of our job. AI is not this easy button to replace the human part of it, right? It can help with writer's block, it can help automate some of the harder parts of the manual side, but it's not a push and send, right? There's still the human touch. It's another version of a template that allows you to be more specialized, but still put the brand's tweak on it, right? And it's important to kind of remember that when you think about AI. And Amanda, last question, because it ties in before we open up to any audience questions. When you think about responses on the review, right? I'm imagining you've had operators respond to reviews. What do you look for in that? Or when you read it, you're like, oh, that was awesome. Or like, all right, thanks for coming in, whatever, right? Like, how do you take away from the responses from the operator?
Right, when I see those responses, I'm always actually excited because I don't feel like I get a ton of responses. So when I do see them, I do read them. Sometimes they do want my email, and that's exciting too. It keeps getting exciting. what they were stating earlier too of come back, please come back. Those, we missed you, here's a free treat, goes a long way for me. And I think would actually also help businesses, because if you're giving me a small treat to go visit you, I'll probably order a drink and something to eat, and then I'll get the free treat. But I'm probably not going alone. I'll probably go with my date, or I'll probably go on a group. And so it feels like this small little treat can lead to 2 more drinks plus 2 entrees, and then maybe also a dessert as well. So those responses to me are always a big surprise, and they always seem meaningful to me, because they're thanking me for my review, or if it was a so-so review, they really do want to say, how can we make it better?
I mean, treats are awesome.
Right.
Just like point blank takeaway, treats are awesome. And it's almost, you're thinking about it, the way you kind of described it there, it almost sounds like an extension of a loyalty program a little bit, of like, hey, you're clearly engaging with us more than just a come and eat and leave.
Right.
How can we engage with you? How can we provide a little treat, a free soda? I mean, we just got P. Terry's in Austin. Somehow I have 5 free milkshake cards that they gave me, and now I was like, oh, we'll get my kid a free milkshake.
Right.
Well, 3 fries and 2 burgers later, we got our free milkshake, right?
Exactly.
Okay. I think we're going to open it up for any questions if there are any. I see a few. That's awesome. Let's start with the back.
What kind of CRM tools do you use to manage the communication internally with your various units? So, if you're asking a GM to handle a situation, and do they put notes in there? Are they reaching out? Is it just email internally?
For my team, it's email. I need to know that they got my email. We have tried to do other programs where it was more like a team building, and here's your reminder. When I write emails to my team, it is short and sweet. Like a kindergarten knows what they need. So I need you to do this. This is what happened, and then call me when it's done so we can follow up. So for me personally, and I think for most teams, because they have so much to do, and they usually assign one manager or a new assistant general manager, someone that's learning the ropes. This is a great way for them to actually get additional training to do that. So it's also a coaching experience for them to teach this other manager, and then they send me an email saying, this was recovered, this is what happened, and then we log those recoveries. So should we send out a guest letter? Should I need to send out some swag? Then all that's recovered just in a basic sheet. That my intern zone, so I don't even know where that is. But they log it, we review it, district managers get to review that, VP gets to review that, and at the end of the year, we go through and say, okay, this was your guest recoveries, this is the time it got recovered in, we maybe need to work on your time recovery, because for us, time recovery is number 1. So if it took them 3 days, why did it take you 3 days? Did you?
And the GM is responding to you guys saying, hey, I took care of this issue.
Yep, they're saying,
This is the resolution.
Nikki, this is closed. Here's my points. It's color-coded. I send the template. It's color-coded, green, yellow, red, what you need to do, and then they go through and they respond to the below questions, and then that all gets logged.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, ours is really similar. I would say we do some of it through Marqii in that we've got that approval process going on, so they can see what's been changed, if the response has been edited, or if we've gone in a different direction with what they've drafted, and then we also log in a separate sheet. So. Yeah.
And I guess I'm curious also, because we've talked a lot about the 1 stars and the low reviews and what you guys are doing with that. When you see a 5-star come in, is there anything that's happening internally with maybe the person that they mention or anything like that? Are there treats involved internally as well?
There should be. No, we definitely do internal celebrations and call outs on the leadership calls and say, hey, this store did a really great job. Check out this awesome guest recovery that this GM had. We celebrate those wins all the way up to the CEO level.
Yeah, and we have a pin program, so we have different pins that they get for different things.
Nice.
And then if it's an amazing year, a great recovery, we have a special social media pin that we give out to that team member. It's a whole hoopla. We put them on the stage usually sometimes if it's something great. If the district manager's there, they present it. And then we have a monthly contest for shout-outs. So the server that gets the most shout-outs for that month gets a $50 gift card.
That's awesome.
I've heard from other companies too, like other folks that do this, that there's a lot of competition sometimes between GMs when they use a platform like Marqii where there's that much visibility. They can sign in and see the dashboard and be like, I want to be the best.
We
So,
literally saw it, I think 2 weeks ago, we were doing just like a review check and auditing, like we always like to see what's going on. And there was a location in Orlando actually, and you're like, wow, whoever Robert was had a hell of a Saturday. Any other questions? I saw from your hands. Angel in the front row.
I got two questions. First one's for Amanda.
Sure.
Both Heather and Nikki mentioned that their CEO, the VP, whatever, is responding. I'm assuming they're signing those responses to signature. Does that impact you by knowing that it's the CEO or the VP of whoever? My second question is, if that's true, if it does impact you, then Heather and Nikki, does it make sense to, sort of like the sales team is always like a VP of sales, all salespeople are all VPs, does it make sense to have review responders also be VPs?
I have an opinion.
Amanda, let's
Yeah,
start
you go
with
first.
let's start with does it impact you?
So when I do see a review, I have received some where there's just no one, it just says Susan. And then I've seen where it says the owner, or I don't know if I've ever seen a CEO, but I would be impacted if I did see CEO. For sure, when I see owner, store manager, I'm like, oh, a title, someone that actually took the time to read my review. But if it's just the name, it's still exciting, but it's not as impactful as CEO or VP or store owner, manager.
My opinion on your question, should everybody be the VP of sales? I would say no. I think authenticity is really important. And I think even if it's, hi, I am the shift manager, my name's Heather and I was the shift manager at the time that you came in. I think putting some kind of personalization beyond the name of understanding like what is this person's role creates that human connection. And then the CEO is the heavy that we bring out, right? When we have like really impactful guest issues and he wants to be the one out there, whether it's personal email or review response with signature, that does make a huge impact in our experience. But no, I wouldn't give everyone a VP title.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to give VP titles to everyone, but I do like the idea of maybe having, we used to do Margaritaville management team at the bottom of all of ours. Thank you, kind regards from Margaritaville management team. I think Yelp, TripAdvisor still has that signature in there on those reviews. It's just something that is kind of naturally when you go into that platform to respond, it gives you that signature at the bottom. So maybe, Kelsey, we'll write that in as something to think about, to go back to, because you're right, it does make a difference. And I'm not going to fib. Sometimes when they call you out, they're like, Nikki H, respond to me. And you're like, no, no. But it is great when they do call me out by name. A lot of times they're like, Nikki, and they'll go to the venues. I hear it more in the venues. So I spoke with Nikki. She was amazing. Is she here? No, she's in Orlando, and they're in Texas. So,
Power of the internet.
I know, but no, I think that is a great idea. I do like the idea of maybe putting that signature back on maybe our Google at least once. I know we do it for Facebook, but that's more personal.
You can, again, run the test, try it, track it.
We'll try it
It's a one-size-fits-one opportunity. Maybe it works for you guys in your market and your, customers versus elsewhere. So you never know. Fun question, fun two-parter. Ooh, we got some over here. Yeah. How do you handle any kind of review engagement?
Yes.
Not just in review engagement, how do you get them to think that the review is going to make a difference?
Yeah.
And we're also going to ask, when you ask, tell us your name and your brand also, if you're here with a group.
My name is Patrick Girard. I work with Irish Restaurants in Seattle.
Hi, Patrick.
Yes, would be my answer.
Yeah.
So we
Overwhelming
lost my
yes.
microphone. We do this two ways at Next Level. One is we actually have some internal reviews that we do too. We use Tattle, and so we will collect some portion of those reviews internally, and then we have the external ones as well. So we'll have QR codes kind of in the store that say, hey, if you, it's not even if you had a good experience, please tell us how your experience was. Please leave us some feedback. We'd love to hear how this went. And then it's also the engagement in the store, right? Like our GMs will go around and talk to people, especially if they look like they're having a great time. Hey, how'd you like your meal? Oh, we're so happy to hear that. And they say, oh, thank you so much. We love it here. great. You know, one of the best things you can do for us would be if you would consider leaving us a review online. We'd love that. I've also heard in some of my smaller restaurants, not Next Level, different brands that I work with, where someone will want to leave a tip at the register when it's not really like a tip-based business, but you know, the point of sale is always like, do you want to leave 18,000%? And so a lot of times those frontline employees will say, hey, you know what, it's actually even better to us than tips is if you would leave us a review online.
Yeah, same here. We have the QR codes that, of course, on the tables requesting, and that feedback goes straight to the brand. So it goes to the Margaritaville brand, so they get an overall kind of guest feel for that. But we also, to make sure that all the servers are really, and the general managers, the managers that are touching the tables, go through and have talking points. So monthly we send out new talking points for service, so that way they can have a more genuine way to speak to the guests. Because like I said, sometimes it seems like a service spiel, right? You're up there, don't forget to leave me a review, as well as don't forget to buy dessert and this, that. So getting those genuine talking points to our team, I think helps them give a more genuine experience to let the guests know that we really do want to hear what they have to say.
I think it's important takeaway is also, they didn't say leave us a good review, right? It was give us your feedback. And I think that's an important takeaway also. Any other questions from over here before I go back this way? Yes.
Yeah, so
Name and brand.
Cool. So my name is Chris.
Hi, Chris.
I run a tech business out of Africa, but we've got a sort of product, if you will, to what Marqii has to offer, serving our customer base in that market. My question is a great segue from my guess. That was, you obviously get internal, or the potential to get internal reviews, and then there's the external facing reviews. I'm curious to know what you find to be the most impactful in terms of actual operations, because in my experience, the external reviews are reputational, but sometimes really difficult to actually have a conversation with the individual when you're saying, hey, DM me, and people don't get back. They just want to find, a space to complain. Whereas the internal reviews actually allow more meaningful engagement to do something. And I'm just curious to know how you find that in your space as well.
Go first.
I think for external reviews, like I said, we do DM directly through that social media platform. Our paid ads are a great way where we get a ton of external reviews with guests that are not our fans. They don't follow our page. It's just followed up on their feed. And again, like you said, they want to vent on there. But I'll DM them directly. Sometimes I'll DM directly from my personal account. Just if it's something serious, I'll DM them directly, say, look, I understand that you had this experience. We really want to follow up with you. And I do feel like that's sometimes where we get some of the best feedback, because these are guests that are angry. I mean, they're just kind of going to any platform they can to leave that review, to let you know what happened. And we do want to follow up. I find that sometimes that's the best way to actually find a problem that we didn't know we had. So, or something that maybe we thought was a small problem.
Sure.
And then, a longer wait time, maybe we need to modify that wait, or, reservations, they got a reservation, but then they came in and it's on a wait. What do you mean it's on a wait? So things like that
You know
where...
how to take the reservation.
Yeah,
You know how to keep
yeah,
the reservation.
I need you on that. So things like that. For myself, I'll DM them personally, make sure that I do everything we can to get that guest recovered. But yeah, I do agree with the external is probably the more meaningful than the internal. The internal is already there. We've gotten feedback through the surveys, through the guests. I'm sure they've told the managers and the service team what was wrong. But yeah, those guests, I would never have heard them. So they would have been a lost guest. And then they would have told 3 other people and 3 other people.
Heather,
So-
I see you have something?
Yeah, we actually did some testing on this on the Next Level side to figure out what was the right balance between the internal reviews and the external, because to your point, external is going to be that reputation management that people are seeing. So if you're getting internal reviews, are you cannibalizing your external reviews, and what's the balance there? And we found, actually, I agree with Nikki, people are, when they're really mad online, they are willing to engage and tell you that feedback. They want someone to listen to them, talk to them. So I say we get a pretty good balance of that, like, operational, meaty feedback from both internal and external, and we've played around with how much encouragement do we want to lay on the internal review versus external to find the right balance for us. So it's a little bit trial and error.
They each play a role.
They do,
right?
yeah.
It's important. Any other questions over here? Yeah.
Thanks, Madison. I work for Touch Bistro. Just going back to how you guys incentivize
Personally, I've tried it and I don't love it. We haven't had great efficacy with that, and some platforms like Yelp, it's against terms of service to request a review.
I
So
see
you
Yelp
gotta be
nodding.
careful with that. Yeah, so you don't want to do that. And I think I've seen brands do that before, and I just haven't seen it be a super effective way to go about it, in my experience.
Yeah, agree. I mean, we don't want to get banned from anyone for trying to get good reviews. So typically we don't do that. Now we do have a survey program that, again, is through the brand. So you sign for a survey, you get a cruise on a Margaritaville cruise
There
or
it
something, like the chance to win, which is internal information only, though. So that's a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah, reviews will come, right? If you build it, they will come. There's people want to leave reviews, they want to be heard, and I want to also say one thing quickly, that when we look at our data and we get thousands and thousands of restaurants review data as a whole, they trend positive, right? I know everyone has like, oh, they come here to event. That's because those are the ones that hurt more, right? So there's a little bit of recency bias, a little more ouch bias to it, but there's a reason there's a lot of 4- and 5-star restaurants, right? Because they are positive reviews. And so yes, they might skew a little more positive on Google than Yelp, but Yelp is still very positive, and I think it's just important to remember that the negatives hurt more, but it doesn't mean there are more of them, right? Let's take some more questions over here in the middle. Derek.
Derek, Groucho's Deli. So, I mean, obviously, reviews and review management is a core component of holistic reputation management, right? And so, to that end, the question to you and then to both the operators is does layering in keywords into your reputation review responses have any impact on your overall digital relevance, specifically as it relates to Google? Because Google is king of reviews. And is that something that you implement as part of your strategy?
Yes.
I love that question. Yes, I love that question. What a layered question.
Yes.
If everyone here after this session, if you go on your phone and Google burgers near me, or a specific gluten-free near me, gluten-free pizza near me, you're gonna see in the Google 3-pack bolded words from the reviews that are hitting the keywords you're talking about. So when you think about that perfect review response, from our perspective, and again, not an operator, huge fan, not an operator, it's hard, I'd rather do what I do. Those responses are so crucial, right? When you can hit them with a keyword. We have a client in New York, Gregory's Coffee, who, right, they'll personalize it. Hi, Nikki. They'll reiterate, I'm so glad you had a Gregular experience, right? And then they'll also say, make sure you come back and try our fall oat boy latte, right? They're hitting a keyword that's coming for a season that it's already pumpkin season, let's go, right? They're hitting those keywords and it plays a long-term impact, and it's so
little
important.
SEO hack.
Yeah, a little SEO. Love that question. Any quick
No, I
tricks
just
before
yes,
then?
yes to all the things,
Yes. Overwhelming yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Peter Masas Kebab from LA. Have you guys seen, so I see, I track this, and we always go back whether we should respond or not respond. I don't think we've responded in years. But if you do decide to respond and engage, would you retroactively go back? I mean, we're 20 years.
No.
Would you go back, or would you start from today?
I go back 30 days.
Okay.
Yeah, at most 60 days, but probably 30 days to respond to those. And I think this is another stat that I picked up from Marqii. But once restaurants start responding to reviews, I think you guys have seen an average of a 30% increase in star ratings. So it makes a difference. It really does.
Yeah. I wouldn't respond more than 30 days, and for
Yeah.
us, that's pushing it.
Yeah.
It's like if you go into your...
It's also how many reviews do you have?
Yeah.
Right? You 30 days is going to be a lot different than me 30 days.
2 weeks for us is the max that I would go back, and then we do see guests like kind of, oh, you're fine. Unfortunately, it's, oh, you're finally responding.
Yeah.
I was gonna
If
say.
you're gonna go back, kind of be careful. Go and do your positive ones, your neutral ones maybe.
Yeah.
Your negative ones I would maybe take offline and say, we're sorry we were unable to get to you in a timely fashion, something like that.
But going forward, would you respond to the negatives too?
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
So you just go back to the positives, thanks.
It's
Yeah.
never too late.
Think about when you see a negative review online and nobody's responded to it, you're just going to be like, well, I'm taking that negative review at face value. But if you see someone respond to it and you see how they've interacted with the guests, that they care, that maybe that was an off night and they take it really seriously, then you're going to go, okay, that's not likely to happen to me.
And part of what drives that growth in rating over time by responding is it also means that you're seeing it, right? You're getting the feedback, you're seeing the analytics, you're seeing the sentiment analysis that comes from it, and you're making adjustments along the way versus, and again, I don't know if it's a read and not respond or just a not acknowledge a situation, right? It depends, but part of that engagement is seeing the feedback, seeing the easy, low-hanging fruit potential fixes. I think we have time for one more question. Ooh, but if you have more, I'll stay back. Yes, in the back.
Hi, I'm Ashley with Lane's Chicken. I haven't heard you guys mention it, but I was wondering if you had any recommendations on how you support franchise companies, like how do your SOPs differ, how you encourage consistent engagement and behavior, case studies within the brand.
I think it's kind of taking the same thing, but being more detailed and more prescriptive with it, because the way that Next Level operates is our GMs are general managing partners, so we're really putting a lot into that professional development and getting them how we want them to be for the brand, and with franchise, it's harder to do that. So I think probably something more similar to what you guys have, without really, lots and lots of templates and more prescriptive SOPs. And then I'm not sure how your structure works with approvals, but you could set up approvals with appropriate folks. I don't know if there's like a regional or something like that where there's an approval process there.
Yeah, we actually get direction from the brand. So the brand sends out monthly, here's what's going on, here's any new, and it's pretty broad. Here's your new fonts, here's your new colors, here's your new this. Along with that is going to be any opportunities that we've seen in the field that you need to hit on. Here's maybe some talking points on that. So having an overall and then just reiterating it monthly, touching back with the district managers, things like that. Did you get this? How are you seeing this? And then monitoring that, those talking points that you sent out.